I never thought that just 2 pills would change my son's whole life. Not only his life, my family's life.
It has given us hope. He's able to go to school. Um, he's able to function day to day, um, and able to live a semi life that he was not able to before.
Before DCCR, I was desperate for something. Dean was having tantrums constantly all day. He was, we had all food locked up and he was like rattling the cabinets and stealing food at school, screaming for food at home. And he had a lot of skin picking too. His body was just covered in lesions that he made or that he had and scratched. And then as he started taking DCCR, it was a noticeable shift toward all of these things changing. He doesn't scream for food anymore. Sometimes we have to remind him to eat. He's not having tantrums constantly. His skin is totally clear. He has more energy. He is a completely different kid.
Specifically for the grandparents who take care of him a lot, it's very manageable now. So we're grateful for that medicine in helping us with that.
Before DCCR, Matthew is really locked inside, and DCCR has helped us get to know him. It's given us the opportunity to see what he wants to be when he grows up. I mean, he wants to be a police officer. We had no idea that he was locked inside, and that he had dreams for the future. He went from dumping trash on his head, screaming, kicking at school, punching teachers and students, to now he's a straight A student. He's not 100% perfect kid, but he's had 90% better days. My kids, his brothers and sisters, now have an opportunity to interact with him, and they didn't before because they were scared of him because of his meltdowns, or because he was a trigger and they didn't know how to handle it. And so now they get to interact with their brother. As a mom, I love seeing my kids interact with each other. They just don't resent him anymore. The fact that we can go to church activities or to school activities or to family reunions with him. Before we couldn't, and I think my kids resented him. So yeah.
There was also a lot of a lack of inclusion in his school environment because behaviors would be so significant that he would need to literally be secluded in a room by himself. And that was a good day before DCCR, was isolation from everyone. A bad day was that the behaviors were so bad that the school environment didn't feel like they could handle him, or it wasn't safe for him or others. I can't tell you how many times I've driven to the school with my heart beating out of my chest, hoping he's okay, hoping he's still at school, hoping that one of the paraprofessionals that's working with him, didn't do a misstep that led to harm for someone. Now, when I get a phone call from the school, it is the same reason that any other parent would get a phone call from the school. He is no longer hyper-focused on food, when is the next food, when is the next snack. He is experiencing periods of fullness where he's able to focus on academics, entertainment, family, relationships, things that really allow him to progress as an individual.
Since he's been on it, it's really been remarkable because in the past, I could not even drive past the McDonald's. I couldn't go to no restaurants, couldn't take him into any stores because Bryson would have meltdowns. It was times where I'm riding down the road, I'm getting choked by the seatbelt because I passed a McDonald's or some kind of restaurant. I am actually able to ride in the car with my child by myself, not having to have 3 passengers or 2 passengers just in case he decided to try to jump out of the car in the middle of the highway because he sees a restaurant. Since DCCR, it has been a total life change for me and my other kids. We're able to go out in public more. please do not give up on our boys and our girls. Please don't.
Honestly, I feel like we are just game pieces that are being pushed around and that we're not humans and that they are just doing what they want with us and that it's just not fair. But if this gets the FDA approval that we need to get this drug, I say let's do it. But it's still just not fair. It's just not fair. But if we can get FDA to approve it and get it on the market, I'll do whatever it takes. I'll do whatever it takes. It would mean that Matthew no longer had the dream of being a police officer. We would look into a long-term care facility. He would go basically into an institution because we couldn't have him as much as he's grown this year, how much bigger he is. We couldn't have him around our other kids. If he hurt them, or if like my husband or I had to restrain him, I don't want my kids to be traumatized. And again, go back to that resenting Matthew for disrupting our family flow. But he would be locked back up inside of his mind with Prodder Willie being on the front end and not Matthew. We would have Prodder Willie again, and it would take control of him, and we would end up not seeing him grow to be what he wants to be. And we would see him locked in an institution. That's just would be his future without DCCR.
I will lose him. And he will go back to just being like a shell of a person who can't function anywhere, like at home, at school, and that just can't, it just can't happen. It just can't happen. I'm just begging anybody, please. We need this medicine.
Bryson has came a very long way since being on this drug. I was already willing to put him into a home because I felt like I couldn't care for him. But since this drug has came in our lives, he's been more controllable for me. And I haven't thought about putting him in a home, thank God for you guys. But if this drug goes away, you guys are giving up on our kiddos. I'm begging you not to give up on them because we're not giving up on you guys. We want you guys to continue to fight and help us fight for our kiddos. They deserve a normal life. They deserve to be able to go into a grocery store. They deserve to be able to go sit down at a restaurant and not have to worry about wanting to get something off somebody else's plate. They deserve that. So if you guys could please, just please, we're begging you, we're pleading with you guys, please. This drug has done so much remarkable stuff for me and my family. And not only just me and my family, it's other people out there too that have kids with Prader-Willi syndrome that really need this drug in their life.
Please don't close the study because I am feeling great. I am feeling good. I'm feeling more full now. And I didn't have that before I actually had taken in the drug. With DCCR, I have more freedom because I don't have those going off the wares behaviors. I'm not getting upset all the time. I get to do what other kids that doesn't have a chromosome missing. If DCCR did not exist, it school would not be fun for me. Because I would be isolated from my friends in a tiniest room where I can't see them. And now my teacher has moved me with them out of that little room. And I am sitting working in the actual ISD room instead of in a closet.